Hey guys, how you doing? Breaking borders, shattering paradigms for April the 1st. I tried this about 10 minutes ago with Mr. Flipchart, but I don't know why it keeps crashing. So I'm done with that for now. So we're just going to freestyle it this way. There are thoughts that you think, but they're self-generated, is how I call them, thoughts. And then there are the thoughts that find you. So what do those look like? Well, those are the ones that you may not even know why, like what has triggered them to show up. Have you ever had this happen? I know you've had this happen. And it can be right out of the blue. And sometimes you don't even know what triggered them or what invited them there. But all of a sudden, there's like a stream of thoughts. And it really is like a stream. Think of it as a river that has different currents in it. It really is like you get this current or this stream of thoughts all of a sudden just finds you. And so often, the theme of the stream, to that fast 3 times, is not one that you like. But it's like your thoughts, but you didn't create them. You didn't consciously choose to think about them. They just showed up. And then all too often with that stream, so think of it like a current in the water, right? There's a lot of momentum there. So if you get stuck in that current, now that current is carrying you along. So now this stream of thoughts is actually carrying you. And it's often, again, carrying you with a theme or a flavoring that really, really doesn't feel good. So, how did that happen? Where were they before they showed up? Because I know I've often thought that it's like, man, I wasn't, where did that come from? Right? It's like this whole, it's not one thought. It's this whole stream of thoughts that connect to another one, connect to another one, connect to another one. And it's like, where were they before they suddenly showed up? Have you ever had this happen? I know you've had this happen. Things are going along pretty good. Like you're doing pretty good. You're choosing these thoughts. Oh, so it's sunny outside today. It's warm. I don't know what the temperature is. I'm in my office in Western Canada here. And let's see, this is Celsius. It's 6 above. So, and I know, I know for you guys that are a ways south, you're going, holy smokes, that's like cold. Okay, well, yeah, but we've had it minus 20 Celsius. But anyway, this is warm. I can go outside and it's a nice day and you're walking through the trees and you're observing this, right? Oh, the weather's really nice and the sun feels nice and it feels nice and warm and maybe it's the smell of nature or something like that. And you're just kind of bipping along. And then here comes this stream of thoughts and it derails the whole thing. And you go from, man, this is a really nice day and I'm really enjoying the sunshine, blah, 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 to like, ugh, right? Because this stream has now picked you up and is now carrying you, whether you like it or not. So, where were they? How did they show up? And what do you do when they do show up? So, again, the first thing to remember is, generally speaking, there are the thoughts that are what I call self-generated, right? So, wow, this is a really nice day. Wow, this coffee really tastes good. That's your self-generated thoughts. Then there's the thoughts that find you. So that's these streams of thought. So the first thing to remember is those two characteristics in your mind. Why? Because it's important to understand which ones you want to focus on and which ones you don't want to focus on, right? Because for so many people, their minds, your mind, my mind, looks like this, right? It's just this whole mishmash of thoughts, and how the hell do you navigate that? So the first thing with anything is to understand some mechanics of how the machine works, so then you can start to work the machine. So there are your thoughts, and then there are the thoughts that find you. Now, the thoughts that find you, you don't have a lot of direct control over them because they're already generated. Now, here's another thing that'll kind of warp your brain a little bit. They quite often aren't even your thoughts. Now, this may sound kind of, I don't know, new agey, floofy or stuff like that, but it's not. They're more and more, at the very least, theoretical physics, and even more than that. They're able to measure that thoughts really are things. So these thoughts that you're thinking, and especially ones that you focus on, and especially ones that you focus on and then feel an emotion, like feel that sensation in your body, they're like their own sentient little being in many respects. And so once that thought is generated, focused on, and especially if it has feeling attached to it, it's now its own little thing, right? And it kind of just sits there and germinates and grows and then finds other thoughts that resonate with it. I was years ago, I was a lot more into as a musician, and I remember getting a book on harmonics, and it was really, I mean, harmonics are just this massive field of study. And then I don't know, still a while ago, but I think I was looking at another book. I might even have it somewhere here. And it talked about really the universe is like music. It runs on harmonies and resonance and different octaves and all this crazy cool stuff. And so these thoughts actually have like a resonant frequency. And they exist. They're just kind of floating. Think of them as these currents in this stream. So the first question is, where do the thoughts come from? Well, they're all there. I think this is the thing. You didn't generate these thoughts. Again, as a matter of fact, they might not even be your thoughts. Have you ever had this happen? You're having a pretty good day, right? You're actually, I'll give you a real world example. This is way back in the beginning of my journey. And I had the occasion to drive to Edmonton. So those of you that are familiar with Alberta, 3 or 4 times over the course of maybe 3 weeks or so. And so what I would do is, because I just had to drop off from blueprints and some quotes and bids and things like that. So when I was up there, I would stop in at Ascendant Books. Those of you that know Edmonton, I'd stop in at Ascendant Books because I was fairly new, so I was just learning and buying and researching. And I just had a really great experience. So then I leave Ascendant Books. So for those of you that know the area, so I go south, it's 124th, and you turn, you go on to White Avenue or Jasper Avenue. So I turned on to Jasper Avenue. All of a sudden, I started to have like these 3 streams of thoughts that had, like, I guess, anxiousness attached to them, like different things like that. And it was like, wow, that was kind of weird. And all of a sudden, I'm caught on this current. And then about 3 or 4 blocks, 5 blocks afterwards, it would kind of lift. I thought that was kind of interesting. So the next time I was up there, the same thing happened. So the third time I'm up there, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to pay attention this time. I go south on 124th. I turn on the Jasper Ave. As soon as I turned on the Jasper Ave, I felt the same thing. And what I learned from that was that stream, that current in the stream, that stream of thoughts wasn't even mine. But as I drove through it, I was picking up the flavoring of it. Now, again, this could sound really kind of out there, but I tell you, there's more and more and more. I was going to say anecdotal. There's far more than that. There's far more evidentiary science that really validates the physics, the truth behind this. And so that's the first thing to remember, is that there's all these streams of thought in this. I'll clarify. There's all these different currents of thoughts in this big stream. And so when that current finds you, where did it come from? It's always been there. It's just, for some reason, often there's a trigger of some type. Maybe it's a self-generated thought. Maybe it's something in your external environment that actually it kind of resonates, right, with the flavoring of whatever that stream of thoughts is. And that's what brings it into your experience, or into your awareness, better word. So it's always there. It's just you weren't aware of it until something invited it in. Now, what's the something that invited it in? I don't know. And to try and manage that is just about impossible because, again, you don't know. But for me, the important thing is not trying to avoid them. The important thing is, what do I do when they show up? Okay. So that's the first thing to remember is there's all these different currents in this big stream. And these currents, once something brings them into your awareness, now it's easy for you to get caught on that. And now it's carrying you. So that's the first thing to remember is when it does show up is okay. So what's going on right now? Okay, so there's my thoughts that I generate. It's not those. There's this stream or this current that for whatever reason has popped into my awareness. Don't know how, whatever. It's there now. And it's going to have a tendency to suck me into it. Now, if you can catch it early enough, and if the current isn't too strong, if you just leave it alone, right? Don't try and analyze it. Sure as hell don't agree with it. Don't even try and fight it or deny it. Why? Because in all of those instances, what you're doing is focusing on it. And then by focusing on it, you are going to start to resonate like it, which means whoop, you're going to get sucked right into it and away you go. And once you're into that stream, then you're into that stream. And now there's a whole different strategy, right? So the first strategy, again, if you can catch it early enough, and if the current in this isn't too strong, just don't look at it, right? Don't look at it. You know it's there. I know it's there. I'm not going to focus on it, right? How do I not focus on it? Don't analyze. Why did it show up? Where did it show up? What's it doing? Sure as hell don't agree with it. Yes, that's right. Oh, God, yeah, that's right. Don't even fight it. Nope, not listening, not going to do it, because in all of those, you're focusing on it. So what are you going to do? Focus on anything else other than it, right? The greatest power you have is your choice of where or what you want to focus on. By holding your focus on something, you are going to start to resonate with it. So when that stream finds you, what you're going to do is focus on anything other than it. I don't care what it is. Maybe it's a cup of coffee, right? But you're going to, can you feel it? Yeah, you can feel it wanting to pull you. Yeah, you feel it wanting to pull you. But and don't try and resist it, because in order to resist it, you're going to focus on it. Just hold your focus on something else, anything else. When you do that, and as you do that, you'll find the current will then just kind of fade away again. Right? Something triggered it, brought it into your awareness. If you leave it alone, it's going to leave. Now, that's all great if and when you do it. I don't know about you guys, but all too often, before you know it, bang, you're on this current. Here we go. Well, crap, right? The thoughts are thinking me now. I'm not thinking the thoughts. So now what do? Okay, so you're in the current now, right? So that first strategy isn't going to work. You're in the current now. So to try and stop it, so think of it, you're riding in this current, right? So to try and stop it or try and do like a 90-degree jump out of it, it's not going to work. I remember, I hadn't thought about this for a long time. See, there you go. Here's this thought. See, so now I was talking about current. So here's how it works. I was talking about a current, right? It's a flow and how it catches you and takes you. That triggered into my awareness, brought into my awareness an old van I had when I was probably 22. It was like a stubby nose van. The engine was in between here. And so the windshield was here. There's nothing in front of it. Can't remember what brand it was. Anyway, make it was. Brakes were shot. Everything was shot on it. And it was a winter time, and I was driving it down this big hill. And tires were, I'm sure, bald and everything. And I'm going down this big hill, and I'm picking up too much momentum, right? So now what am I going to do? Well, I sure don't want to hit the brakes. If I hit the brakes, I'm going to skid, and I'm done, right? So all I can do is focus on the bottom of the hill and just do my best to steer and just kind of ride it out, right? Because if I try and if I oversteer, I'm going to spin and I'm going to spin and I'm going to be in the ditch. right? So I just focus and I'm just riding this thing out. Gentle, gentle. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Ride it out. In a way, that's the same thing you do. Once you're caught in this momentum, now what you're going to need to do is, first of all, try and get your balance even when you're in it. Right? And this is where, okay, I'm aware I'm here. Okay, I just need to focus on something physical, anything physical. That'll help you keep you grounded, right? Focus on your body. Again, a cup of coffee, anything. Okay, and you're going to feel it, right? You're going to feel those sensations of being in that current. So maybe even just focus on anything physical. Do your best to get out in your awareness, to get your thoughts out of that stream, right? That's what we want to do. We need to get your thoughts out of the stream, but gently and gradually. So this is where I'm kind of jumping around techniques here, but this is one that Esther Hicks teaches, and it's really valuable. Start with general thoughts and then move to specific. So you're in the stream and it's carrying you, and I got my thoughts. So my thoughts are kind of my thoughts are how I change direction. Right? So it's my thoughts. But I also got to be careful. Remember steering. I don't overcorrect because then I'm going to hit the ditch. So how do you kind of just get your bearings? Go very, very general. I'll give you an affirmation that I use. One of the affirmations I use, and it's not mine, actually, I think Esther Hicks is what I heard it from. Everything works out in my favor. Now, does that have anything to do with the thought stream? I don't know whether it does or not. But that everything works out in my favor is something that's going to keep me in the center of the road, right? My van, don't want to hit the ditch, don't want to spin. It's going to help keep me in the center of the road, right? All things work for my benefit. Things are always working out for me. Again, whatever affirmation you want to use or whatever thought you can think of that feels good, that's all we're looking for, right? Any type of a very, very general thought, affirmation, right, that you can say, but very general, not too specific, and probably nothing to do with the theme of the thought stream you're currently stuck in. Okay, this is another handy tip. Those general thoughts that you're using, a really good idea is that they have nothing to do with the theme of the stream that you're currently in. Because it's so easy for those to kind of collide like this, and then you hit the ditch. So very, very general, not on the topic of the stream you're currently stuck in. As you do that, you're going to kind of get, okay, I'm going down the hill, I'm going really fast, but I kind of have control of my good old van, right? I kind of have control of my van. Okay, I got it. I'm still kind of white knuckling it, but I'm in the middle of the road and I've got control of it. Right. So now what you're doing is you're bringing the steering, right, which is your thoughts, you're bringing it back into your control. See how that works? You're not stuck on this train now. Now you're bringing it back so that, okay, I've got hold of the steering wheel. General. Now what you can do is very, very gently, you're not trying to stop the stream, but very gently, you can keep adding thoughts to that are maybe a little bit more specific, right? But again, not related to the theme of the stream, right? A little bit more specific. And what you're going to do is gently steer out of the stream because you can't stop it because it's there. So it's not like you can just stop cold like this because it's already there. You don't really want to. All you need to do, again, don't argue with it, don't agree with it, right, is gently steer yourself out of that stream. Nice and gentle. Not a 90 degree, but because you're going. Nice and gentle, steer yourself out of the stream. Then what will happen is you'll still be aware of the stream, right? It's here, but now you've moved over here. Now that you've moved over here, you're not caught up in this so much. And now you can start to guide yourself further and further and further away. And what you'll find is if you can just get out of that stream, it's going to start to sort of veer away from you because there's whatever brought it into your awareness is not there now. right? You're not riding that stream, fighting with it, agreeing with it, whatever. And so there's nothing to keep it or to kind of tether it into your awareness. So what's going to happen? It's just going to slowly fade away. They always exist. See, that's the thing. They're always there. That's not the deal. The deal is that we do our best to not trigger them. But again, that's easier said than done. But when they are triggered, we know how to keep our balance, keep our balance, and then gently navigate our way out of them. All right. Well, Mr. Flipchart didn't want to show up, but I think we did a pretty good job without him. Share. We're all in this together. See you on the web.